Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Sharp, and I'm the SoBA business team lead. I'm from Edmond, Oklahoma, and I'm a senior double majoring in mechanical engineering and film and media studies.
Everyone, my name is Richard Yang, and I'm the team leader for the software business team, and I'm from Stillwater, Oklahoma, and will be graduating with a degree in computer science. Together, we are the Software Business Accelerator team.
Pretty cool, isn't that? All right. So after seeing my interns in adult diapers to wearing the professional attire that they are wearing today, it has been a pleasure to watch these little rugrats grow this semester. Now, we've explored the incredible world of mixed reality, but we've developed some mixed feelings about the medical world. Now, why, you ask? It's because we've seen far too many naked mannequins than we intended to this semester. Speaking of mannequins, Richard, do you know the difference between mannequins and dummies?
I do not.
So mannequins are essentially these plastic replicas of humans that are used in the medical industry for training, and dummies are what I like to call my interns.
Ha 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 ha.
Thank you for laughing.
On the development side, we've been successful in creating an interactive demo by working late nights at the office, squashing any bugs that came our way. Of course, this would have been possible with our 10 SoBA fingers, each of which represents a member of our team. We also got to explore the matrix of the future by wearing our trusty, high-tech, but sometimes highly unpredictable Magic Leap headset. Finally, overall, you could say we poured our virtual blood, sweat, and tears into this project.
Now, as the opposable thumbs to our 10-fingered family, Richard and I wanted to give 2 thumbs up to our team.
We couldn't have asked for a better team this semester, and while we are composed of 2 teams, we mesh together well like 2 folded hands. I want to say that we have had the privilege and honor to work with very bright, talented, and hardworking individuals, and it's been a pleasure to watch them grow personally and professionally over the semester.
And we're not done yet. So, from breaking out of escape rooms to making breakthroughs in our project, we've had a blast this semester. I've had so much fun in this team. And so please enjoy their presentation and give them a big hand at the end.
Thank you.
According to the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States is medical error, accounting for almost 1 in every 10 deaths. Now, over the course of this semester, my team has talked to medical students and professionals who have described a sense of uncertainty in certain medical situations. And so, over the course of this semester, we have worked with NextThought, a nearby education company, to develop a mixed reality platform that would work with medical simulation centers to decrease medical error. We have developed a proof of concept that a simulation center specialist noted as a key step in the development of a groundbreaking technology. And with our business model, NextThought can expect to earn over $3 million in the next 5 years, with larger profit margins as time goes on, as they would become the primary player in a currently untapped market for mixed reality technology. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan Zimmerman. I'm a chemical engineering major from St. Louis, Missouri.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Moser. I'm a sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, studying physics, math, and Spanish.
Hi, I'm Alan Lee. I'm a junior from Lincoln, Nebraska, and I'm studying computer science and math.
Hi, my name is Millet Gilmore. I'm a junior from Dallas, Texas, studying finance and accounting.
Hello, my name is Dorothy Lamb. I'm a double major in MIS and accounting from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Now, Alan is a part of our developers team, which is also comprised by John Tran, Amy Le, and James Martindale. Their team leader is Richard Yang. The business team leader is Emily Sharp. Our fellow is Jamie Franzese. Our mentor over the semester has been Rob Morris, and our inventor has been Ken Parker, who is also the CEO of NextThought. Now, the technology that NextThought will be working with falls under this umbrella term of extended reality, which includes the technologies you see here. Virtual reality is a completely immersive experience where the user sees only the screen on their headset in front of them. Augmented reality with apps like Pokemon Go allows the user to see digital objects and interact with them using a screen. Now, mixed reality marries the best of both worlds, allowing the user to see the real world through a headset and then interact with real and digital objects. Now, after a thorough month-long investigation of 13 different industries, the business team arrived at the medical field after narrowing down the industries as the best market for this mixed reality technology. This is because the medical field has interest in purchasing power for the technology and current technological limitations for mixed reality, such as having a small field of view and needing to work indoors, work well for the medical field. Now, within the medical field, we have identified over several dozen interviews over the course of the semester, 15 of which have been with simulation centers directly, that simulation centers have three main pain points to address with current simulations. The first of these is damage. As you see in the image on my left, your right, there's a mannequin with fake blood on it, and this fake blood has the potential to damage mannequins, which cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Furthermore, fake fluids stain the floors pink of certain simulation centers, and that just contributes to the damages. Now, there is a lack of realism and customization with current simulations. We saw at one simulation center that a male simulation center specialist was doing a voiceover for a woman giving birth, and there were other simulations where a worker stood underneath the operating table to squirt fake blood at students to simulate that blood. Now, lastly, simulation centers are currently not cost efficient with their simulations, with things like fake wounds, fake burns, and fake skin conditions taking a significant amount of time to set up and clean up, which incurs a great cost on these simulation centers. Now, all five of these elements that I've mentioned, fake fluids, wounds, burns, skin conditions, and environmental elements like the woman speaking while giving birth, were all emphasized by more than half of all the simulation centers we interviewed. Now, Jacob will talk about how NextThought Mixed Reality can address these problems.
Thank you, Jordan. To address these pain points we've mentioned, NextThought will deliver a simulation platform that will be both cost and time effective for simulation centers moving forward. How this will look is both participants and trainers in medical simulations will wear mixed reality headsets and run NextThought software to overlay digital objects and textures onto mannequins, cadavers, and even standardized live patients. This will be a flexible platform with frequently updated content that will give simulation technologists the flexibility and freedom to create the exact simulations they desire. In the image, you can see one of our developers, Amy, interacting with a mannequin at the OU Health Science Center, and through the headset, she is viewing laceration wounds on the mannequin. The trainer would see a menu such as this and be able to scroll through the 5 major packages of content, namely fluids, wounds, skin conditions, burns, and environmental conditions, and be able to drag and drop what the trainee would see into the simulation. As I mentioned, this will be flexible and add enhanced visual and environmental realism to these medical simulations. On a cost savings basis, this will save simulation centers $43 per simulation in which fake blood is used. This is both between the long setup and cleanup time and the nominal cost of fake blood. For moulage simulations, which means simulations involving wounds that currently are rendered by simulation technologists using theater techniques such as the use of adhesives, synthetics, and other paints, these simulations cost centers $90 per simulation. Mixed reality will make these processes much more efficient and save the centers a great deal of money. I'll now hand it off to Alan, who will showcase what the development team has done this semester to prove this concept and begin taking steps to this simulation platform.
Thank you, Jacob. The development team has been working on a functional prototype for mixed reality medical training. We have had the opportunity to show a demo of our prototype to the simulation lab at OU's Health Sciences Center. Scott, the simulation specialist you can see in this picture, said that the technology was moving in the right direction and that mixed reality could be used to improve medical simulations in the future. Throughout the semester, we have been developing using a Magic Leap headset because Ken, our client, has a Magic Leap that we are able to use throughout the semester. Our application allows users to place burn wounds, laceration wounds, and blood onto either an individual or a live person. We have prioritized creating interactive scenarios over creating refined models in order to demonstrate a proof of concept. Some of the steps we have taken for the interactive portion include creating a spatial mapping of the environment around the Magic Leap so it knows its surroundings, allowing users to place virtual objects into the physical environment, and allowing instructors to remove objects based on the simulation's needs. We recorded a few videos using the Magic Leap headset that I will now show you. This first video shows a individual placing first a laceration wound, and then a burn wound, and finally blood onto an individual. The point of view is through the Magic Leap device, and they are using the controller to place these wounds and blood. They're just by pointing it and selecting. This next video shows an interactive portion where a laceration wound is on an individual, and as it's covered up with a bandage, the instructor is able to make the wound disappear to show that interactive portion. While this is a very simple example, it shows how the instructor will be able to alter the simulations based on the performance of the student. Here is a blood model that we created earlier on in the semester that's a little bit more realistic than the one you saw earlier. Unfortunately, we found that it wasn't able to be ported into Magic Leap. However, it does work with HoloLens too. And so in the future, we recommend that NextThought uses this if they proceed with the project. Additionally, here are the wound models that we showed earlier, just a closer up view of them. The laceration wound on the left and the burn wound on the right. And here is a vitals dashboard that we created that resembles current vitals dashboards that are used in current simulations. And NextThought could integrate this into their application so that students could more seamlessly transition from current technologies to future technologies. As you can see, these demos show how mixed reality can be used to improve medical simulations. With a team of full-time developers over a longer period of time, NextThought could create more realistic models and scenarios that would attract simulation labs from across the country. Furthermore, each year, the capabilities and computational complexity of mixed reality is improving, so it will be able to more seamlessly integrate virtual models into our physical space in the future. Thank you, and I'm going to pass it off back to Jacob to talk about the market.
Thank you, Alan. As Alan mentioned, medical simulation centers present a great market to enter with mixed reality technology because they have ample interest and purchasing power to be early adopters of such revolutionary tech. In the United States alone, there are approximately 650 simulation centers that train medical students, and on average, these centers have annual operating budgets of around $700,000. This shows that they have ample resources to invest in mixed reality tech moving forward. But with that being said, many medical simulation centers do not currently own the mixed reality headsets that would be necessary to run this kind of software. For this reason, the ideal customer of NextThought's simulation platform would have an annual operating budget slightly below this average value at the minimum to be able to foot the upfront investment of investing in mixed reality headsets, again, to be able to utilize the software. Zooming out, mixed reality in the medical field is projected to grow into a $1.32 billion market by 2023, and this is both between clinical and simulation scenarios. There's synergy between the two, though, because as MR becomes more relevant in clinical settings, medical schools will seek to incorporate the technology into their curriculum to better prepare future doctors for what they will see in the real world. Speaking specifically to our interviews with the 15 simulation centers we were able to get into contact with this semester, we found that there was a great deal of enthusiasm for this type of technology. Only one interviewed simulation center was not interested in the platform, but 60%, over half the interviewees, were both interested in the platform and explicitly mentioned interest in immediately demoing or testing the product. This is indicative of the large enthusiasm present in this market for this technology to come to them as soon as possible. Next, Millet will discuss how this technology will stack up against current simulation methods, as well as some other competitors.
Thank you, Jacob. NextThought meets all four factors that simulation centers need in adopting mixed reality. The first being that this simulation platform is customizable, allowing the center to drag and drop as many or as few overlays into the given scenario as they want. This allows the instructor to be flexible in the amount of use cases that they can train their students on. Other XR competitors are designing applications for very specific use cases right now, so do not provide this flexibility for the instructors. This platform is also reusable in the sense that these are virtual overlays that can be dragged and dropped into the environment, so there's not consumables that are needed to be replaced each repetition of the simulation. After many interviews, we found that the environmental realism in these simulations is not adequate, and we hope that this simulation platform can help bridge that gap between simulation-based training and live patient operations. NextThought needs to pursue a subscription-based model so that they can continually update and enhance this content as the technology advances in the future. Simulation centers are willing to pay $10,000 annually for a subscription to this platform. This subscription will foster a relationship, a partnership between NextThought and the simulation centers so that they can continue to collaborate on additional packages of content that they may need, and they could also roll out to other centers in the future. We've found through interviews that medical technology conferences are the best way to meet and interact with these simulation centers. So we recommend NextThought attend the International Meeting of Simulation in Healthcare next January. Additionally, the simulation centers are going to need to purchase the hardware themselves, and with the average simulation center having 4 students interact in a scenario at once, they're going to need to purchase 4 Microsoft HoloLens 2s, totaling $14,000. Finally, NextThought should apply for medical research grants through the National Institute of Health, who are currently giving these medical technology grants specifically towards mixed reality, averaging $428,000. We've already spoken with California Baptist University, who has explained their enthusiasm in partnering with NextThought to begin collaborating on a grant application and begin pilot testing this platform in their simulation center. I'll now hand it off to Dorothy to explain the potential profits that this project can generate for NextThought.
Thank you, Millet. Now, after launching version 1, NextThought will generate $3.2 million in revenue in 5 years. Here, some key revenue assumptions we made to get to this number include a 38% market capture rate, followed by a 94% customer retention rate. The 38% market capture rate comes from taking the total number of simulation centers that NextThought will be able to sell its platform to and dividing that number by the total number of simulation centers in the United States, 650. Next, the 94% customer retention rate comes from taking industry averages of churn rates for business subscription models. Here, NextThought will be able to retain 94% of its customers per year. Now, some key cost assumptions we made to get to this number include the cost of developing the simulation platform, $25,900, and the cost of developing version 1, $92,500. We've also included the cost of maintenance, which we estimate to be 20% of the total development costs. In addition, some other key cost assumptions we made include the cost of having a marketing team that will be able to go to simulation conferences on behalf of NextThought, having a tech support team that should be able to help simulation centers as they work with the simulation platform, and even having an ongoing development cost that should increase per year as NextThought continues to update its simulation platform. Now, if NextThought were to continue to create the simulation platform, some key next thoughts for NextThought would be to first conduct alpha and beta pilot testing. Pilot testing with simulation centers will help NextThought by allowing NextThought to build credibility, potentially refine content, and build partnerships with simulation centers. Alpha pilot testing should first occur with the OU Health Science Center because of proximity of the simulation center and also because of an already established relationship that we've been able to foster throughout the course of the semester. This will occur for 3 months. Next, beta pilot testing should occur with the Mayo Clinic and California Baptist University. These 2 simulation centers are well known and well established within their region and would help NextThought by allowing NextThought to potentially have important contacts within the medical field and also build credibility with simulation centers as well. Afterwards, some key developmental next steps should be to continue to refine content throughout alpha and beta pilot testing, consider creating additional simulation packages, and also to transition to HoloLens 2, as this is the most capable mixed reality headset in the market. Lastly, we recommend that NextThought also consider creating a marketable demo to showcase to simulation centers and at conferences. Overall, as NextThought develops a simulation platform, NextThought has the potential of being one of the first companies to pioneer mixed reality into the medical field. The numbers here speak more for themselves, as through countless interviews with medical simulation centers and medical professionals, we've been able to gather extreme interest and desire for the simulation platform. Overall, after 5 years, NextDot should generate over $4 million in profit as a result. Thank you for listening to our project. I will now open the floor to questions.
Medical errors often occur because of the condition of the physician. So maybe a resident who's been up overnight, or he has a long line of patients. Does your simulator include recommendations for operating the simulator and setting conditions that would be stressful for the individual using the simulator?
Yes, so what you're asking is, do we have stress factors present in our suggested simulation platform?
Yes, so maybe you give some examples.
Yes, so the fifth category we mentioned was those environmental factors, and we see these being the main stressors that simulation technologists can use to create more stress in medical simulations. So these can include other doctors in the room that may be distracting the trainee, or family members that also are distracting the trainee through both audio and visual cues. So we see this as the first and most obvious way to create this stress. But moving forward with the feedback of simulation centers, there may be opportunities to create even more stressors in addition to those.
I've worked with NextDot for over a year, very closely. I've got tremendous regard for their skills. But I'm concerned that your timeline for profitability is dramatically shorter than I would guess if your example of a video of a simulation is where you are now, because I learned how to do that in a Boy Scout. That didn't look like you really simulated very much.
So yes, one thing that we focused on this semester was creating that interactive element just to generate that proof of concept that you are able to place those wounds and blood onto a mannequin or an individual. And it will take some time to improve those models. Obviously, just improving the realism of them, that's definitely something that would need to be done. But with a team of full-time developers over a longer period of time, they may have the ability to do that in a long end.
Could you simulate now how to stitch up that wound? You just put a bandage on it. I'd expect more than that from the cops. Got me by the side of the road.
Yeah, as of right now, we just have the bandage being placed onto the wound. But in the future, that is something you could try to work into the models.
We have time for one more question.
What other markets did the team consider when they were thinking about applying mixed reality?
So your question was, what other markets did the team consider before applying mixed reality into the medical field? Some other markets that we explored before considering mixed reality for the medical field include oil and gas, manufacturing, looking into mining for mixed reality as well, and also space exploration, as well as even working with firefighters and the police force as well. Well, we chose mixed reality for the medical field because the medical field has the most profitability and can actually have that spending power to purchase the mixed reality headsets alongside with the platform as well. Moreover, we found extreme interest and need for the simulation platform as well to help simulation centers create a more immersive experience for their clients and also help them save money with cost and time set up those simulations.